Knock, knock.
Who there?
Sink.
Who dat? Who dat? Boy, I'll tell you, R2. Had you been following big cap tech earnings, that would be large cap technology companies on the NASDAQ, S&P 500.
Are you assuming that I wasn't?
Last night, I had talked to our audience, sir. Last night, Amazon reported a quarter that beat, but they lowered their estimates for the holiday quarter, sending Amazon stock down more than 20%. You know the memes we've seen over
We're down to pre-COVID levels, I think, right?
Yeah, pre-COVID. Well, right about near the COVID low. The COVID low, I think, was about $83, somewhere in there. And it was shocking. You see the meme of, oh, everything's a shitcoin this year, right? Like, I'm almost sick of this meme now. Currency is a shitcoin. Big cap tech is a shitcoin. I was shocked it was down that much. It seemed like an overreaction to me, and I saw the estimate changes. Well, as we have come in this morning, we have fully reversed the market, that is. Amazon's still struggling a bit, though, only down 10% right now. I say only relative to the panic we saw yesterday after the close. Apple, which was down 5% in sympathy, reported its numbers, which were a beat. They were good numbers, and people still didn't know what to do. Right now, up 4%, $150. Market is reversed. Crypto is up. Elon bought Twitter. It's official. Daddy Elon now owns the metaverse, everybody. I mean, come on. This is a day. This is a good day.
God, please do something with Twitter Spaces. Like, please.
Do something with everything. Doge. Now, I wrote a long thread on Doge called "The World is Going to Get Stupid." And Elon Musk was included in that thread, and it talked about him and Gen Z legitimizing Doge as the currency of the future. Now, why Doge? Because we know that it is a cheap Litecoin clone that can handle transactions well and for a very small price. That's great for a currency for things like tipping, right? It's much better than something like ETH, which would be expensive to tip because you're paying probably the same amount you want to tip.
At least.
Now, Elon buys Twitter. We know that Twitter, before he got there, was already heavy in crypto integration, though, whether you're talking about spaces, whether you're talking about tipping features, whether you're talking about linking your wallet, they've been slow. And I think Elon, with a focus on, first of all, taking away power from the advertisers. I don't know if you saw his tweet the other day, where he wrote a letter to advertisers, but also the world, basically explaining why he wanted to buy Twitter. Now, you can be as cynical as you want, and Elon isn't a moron, and I'm sure he's thought of all the positives that owning Twitter can bring in, and of course, many of the negatives.
Why don't I read it? We could just jump into the Elon conversation, because I do think this is actually important. I'll turn the music off. And I do think that Elon buying Twitter for $44 billion, I think even he would admit, is probably not the best use of capital if his sole purpose was to make money. Correct?
Yep.
Like, I just don't think that can be up for debate. And Elon, love him or hate him, knows that too.
Please, it's been the big knock.
The guy's not an idiot. Yeah, well, people are like, you're wasting your money. And like, obviously there's a point for him trying to do this, and it's so that he could ban Grimes.
And look, everyone's performing mental gymnastics to try to say, well, it's obviously not to make money because he's paying too much. So let's figure out the evil mastermind.
Right.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Go ahead, R2. Read his letter to the advertisers. It's a great letter.
It is. Dear Twitter advertisers, but it's not, like, as Free Market said, not just to advertisers. Also, GM to you guys, Sandman, Cambo, Lincoln, GM guys. I wanted to reach out personally to share my motivation in acquiring Twitter. There has been much speculation about why I bought Twitter and what I think about advertising. Most of it has been wrong. The reason I acquire Twitter is because it is important to the future of civilization that we have a common digital town square where a wide range of beliefs can be debated in a healthy manner without resorting to violence. There is currently great danger that social media will splinter into far right wing and far left wing echo chambers that generate more hate and divide our society. In the relentless pursuit of clicks, much of traditional media has fueled and catered to these polarized extremes as they believe that is what brings in the money. But in doing so, the opportunity for dialogue is lost. That is why I bought Twitter. I didn't do it because it would be easy. I didn't do it to make more money. I did it to try and help with humanity, whom I love. And I do so with humility, recognizing that failure in pursuing this goal, despite our best efforts, is a very real possibility. That said, Twitter obviously cannot become a free for all hellscape where anything can be said with no consequences. In addition to adhering to the laws of the land, our platform must be a warm and welcoming to all, where you can choose your desired experience according to your preferences, just as you can choose, for example, to see movies or play video games ranging from all ages to mature. Ranging from all ages to mature. I also very much believe that advertising, when done right, can delight, entertain, and inform you. It can show you a service or product or medical treatment that you never knew existed but is right for you. For this to be true, it is essential to show Twitter users advertising that is as relevant as possible to their needs. Low relevancy ads are spam, but highly relevant ads are actually content. Fundamentally, Twitter aspires to be the most respected advertising platform in the world that strengthens your brand and grows your enterprise. To everyone who has partnered with us, I thank you. Let us build something extraordinary together. Definitely centered around the advertising scope, but I do think that the idea of the common digital town square and pointing out how fractured these social media platforms have become is a very astute point. And I do believe that most critical thinking people have recognized the fact that these platforms tend to be very leaning very strongly one way or the other. And even the same platform can have very different groups and people can have very different user experiences. But it is also dangerous because they do become echo chambers where all of your thoughts are affirmed because everybody is like-minded and you curate the way that you see things, you curate the experience you have. And without getting into political biases, I do think that in a lot of regards, the left extreme can be just as bad and just as full of rhetoric as the right extreme. Now, I'm not getting into what all of those statements are and whatnot, but I think that if this is his actually stated goal, I do think it's important, right? And I think that that was a lot of what we saw in DISO when we joined it, right? It was an open blockchain social media experience where people had the ability and had the right to say their thoughts, and of course there was a reputational damage associated with it if people just tended not to agree with you or if what you were saying was completely out of pocket, I guess, if you want to put it like that.
Yeah. And I think here's my big takeaway from that letter. There's, as I said, people doing mental gymnastics to try to figure out why Elon is doing this and what's his master plan and all that type of stuff. But when you read this letter, it's very obvious to me that is a rich guy having fun, right? He bought this for no other reason. He does not want to make money with it. That's obvious. Everyone agrees on that. You can say it's some sort of power play, and maybe, I guess we will see how that bears out. But I really think this is just a rich guy who thinks he could take this and build this into something better, and he's going to have fun with it. And I believe a lot of what he says in this letter. And I even made the point for weeks now on Twitter. I said it would be great if you had to be charged Gwei for a tweet. All right. That, to me, even on DISO, it was not enough to really dissuade spam. Okay. It has to be relatively expensive, I would say, to dissuade spam. But why couldn't it be built on Doge, right? Didn't Doge launch its own smart contract chain just in the last little bit? Am I
Yeah, there have been utility features coming out for Doge. Yep.
right? So you could put a social network on there, make Doge the native currency, and charge a very small amount of Doge per tweet. I would give people 3 free tweets a day, and then I would charge for everything after that.
Yeah, I don't know if I would go down that rabbit hole, honestly. And I know that you could say like even fractions of a cent, but like the scale of what that means to us to tweet versus somebody that in the global society where even cents matter to them. I think that you do put a little bit of a stop on equal opportunity for free speech. If you're talking about it in the global sense, I don't know if you agree with that or not, but I don't
Right.
think that everybody has the same access to it in the same way to participate in that regard.
Right. I would make a certain number of tweets free per day. And I really think it would reduce the noise to signal. Warren Buffett has a very famous mind exercise that he does that is, if I told you you could only make 5 investments for the rest of your life, I guarantee you would be a millionaire. And you go, how do you guarantee that, Warren? He goes, because you would think about every
Yeah.
investment
Yeah.
so hard, and you would really, really wait to choose your spots. But people know, oh, I'll have another chance. You're constantly told, oh, you're young, take risk, and that's not wrong, okay? But there is something to understand in that, all right? If you really zoomed out and looked at your year, there's probably, depending on how much you trade, but for someone like me, there's maybe 4 or 5 home run trades a year. And obviously, if you could know what those were magically, boom, that'd be the formula. But every year you try to think, well, how can I reduce the amount of every other trade and really take my big swings on those? And how did we get here?
No, the cost per tweet, right? Like the
Yes.
opportunity cost of you're right. Like just having something free and unlimited definitely does not make you think about what you're tweeting, what you're saying, right? Like having an unlimited voice, it doesn't put any onus on you to have thoughtful discussion and choose the way that you're talking to people and how you're talking to people. And also in regards to spam, right? Like how many accounts can you create? Well, you can create an infinite amount using bots, and they can tweet as much as they want, and it really doesn't cost you anything but either your time to set up said bot or buying it, right? Not that I'm advocating for that, but
And
it is a weird and interesting dynamic of how you get to a healthy medium without being exclusive, right?
and here's the thing, with a native currency built in. And again, Diso got so much right. I think Diso's biggest issue is convincing people to use new social media. It's not even the blockchain wasn't nothing was wrong with Diso except convincing a bunch of people to use a new social media. That's really fucking hard. What people can't do it in Web 2. Why would you think Web 3 would be any different, right? Web 3, we always talk about on its own, is not enough of a reason to compel Web 2 people to come over. You need great products, okay? And then once they have great products built on Web 3, they're not going to want to go back to Web 2. If there were a native currency built into Twitter, all right? And again, people, and you could even do a thing like when you sign up, you get 100 free tweets, so every person in the world could sign up and start their voice, being heard. If you could tip Doge right in the tweet, and it was the currency that everyone always had to have in their wallet, great content would be funded by the site itself. People would be able to tweet as much as they want if they were good at it.
I liked the idea of what was it on Diso? Was it stars?
Diamonds.
Diamonds, yeah, diamonds. Right. Fuck. time flies. I forgot about that. I like the idea of likes and retweets having some monetary value of it, even if it is just a penny or something like that, right?
Yeah,
Um,
exactly. I like
like
that
just
too. Like a
just this
mhm.
is my vouch for this. So you know, I like this. Here's a penny, and like that doesn't really mean a whole lot in a singular sense, but you know, you see some of these tweets that get 100,000 likes. And if that's a penny each, like you made $1,000 for a viral tweet that maybe, you know, saw a lot of people saw and appreciated. And that, you know, that
And
shouldn't be
remember,
discounted either.
right now, especially in regards to how people farm engagement, it's all based around an algorithm that is super designed to deliver you advertising. That's about to change. Okay. Whether it's because Elon funds it himself or whether it's because he creates a product that can fund it natively with, again, native currency. To like, come on. Are we not stupid here? Are we not going to bet money he's going to turn this into some sort of DSO? No, we don't know exactly how, but come on, he's telling you in plain language that's what he's going to do.
Yeah.
I would bet.
Well, hey, there
Yeah,
was a lot of speculation that this was going to be put into a trust too, right?
right. Well, he said no. It's not even speculation. And okay, I'll say I'm 99% sure these are real text exchanges based on what I've read between him and Jack Dorsey. They were literally in a conversation together saying, yes, you need to make it DSO. I'm paraphrasing there, but they were like, yes, you need to make it DSO. You just can't do it as a publicly traded company that's beholden to both shareholders and
Yeah.
advertisers.
Yeah.
So it seems to me like this because yes, just making a WhatsApp for America, okay, like I mean, that sounds great, but if it could work here, maybe it would already exist. Maybe that's something that's cultural. Maybe the idea of a WhatsApp is cultural, but maybe a WhatsApp built on blockchain, that's innovative enough to work.
I just hope they get the spaces down, man.
Yeah, like, could we have a glitch-free space? Can I
No,
have
it's
all the
like
emojis I want?
they brought the 100 back, like good for them. But it's just one of those things that like Twitter never had this function until Clubhouse came around. And okay, so and this is going to tie into a lot about the conversation about him basically publicly saying, although it was leaked, that he was going to lay off 75% of Twitter users. Well, no shit, or not users, sorry, employees. No shit. They have 2,500 employees, and if you use the Twitter platform, you cannot deny that. Like, what are those 2,500 people doing now? Obviously, they have different departments, and you know, there's a lot of underlying infrastructure that goes into running a social media site that big, and customer service and all of that stuff. But at its core, the experience that you have on Twitter is not typically very good, right? Like, it's not nearly as good as it could be knowing the potential of it. And I just thought it was ridiculous that people were like, "Oh my god, he's going to fire 75%." I'm like, yeah, because what have they achieved? In case in point, Clubhouse was this app that all of a sudden everybody flocked to. It was talk radio mixed with podcasting, mixed with live viewer interaction. It was the audio version of Twitter, right? It was powerful. Everybody
Right.
was using it, or at least everybody that we were talking to was using it. You would get thousands of followers quickly because
It was
everybody was trying to find the
onboard
new.
for DSO. It was like a funnel for
Yeah,
DSO.
and
Yeah.
it was really strong. And honestly, Twitter saw that and said, we can do that, and turned it on within what, a week, maybe a month, and crushed Clubhouse. Dropped it in its tracks. Like it's almost non-existent at this point because Twitter turned it on. But since then, I don't know that they've done anything to actually improve that experience. They got exactly the minimum amount of value that they needed to do it, which was protect their moat against another social media site, i.e. Clubhouse, and just stopped because the Twitter Spaces, the fact that you can't even use it from a desktop PC is mind-blowing. Like, it's boggling. Why can't I sit here in front of my computer with, you know, the expensive microphone that I've got and my setup and all of this stuff and broadcast and host things there? Instead, I got to go out and buy some earbuds. My phone's got to be charged. I got to make sure it's on airplane mode because if I get a call, it's game over. Like all of these things just suck. And so, I'm just so surprised that when he says he's going to lay off 75% of Twitter employees, everyone's like, oh my God. And it's like, really? Right? Like, what has happened with Twitter since in the last 2 years, 3 years? What's been the most exciting thing? The NFT hexagon was cool. Anything else?
And boy, would you be pissed if you went and used Clubhouse, because it is the spaces you want, Arts.
Yes.
I'll tell you right now.
It is a 10 times better product.
Yeah.
But why would anyone go to Clubhouse when you already have your Twitter account and all of your friends are using Twitter and all of your followers are already using Twitter and you can just stay there? They knew that and they shut it down.
And here's my idea. And Elon, I hope you're listening. I would make a separate Spaces hosts app that gives you crazy control over production and functionality. Ooh. You still have your Twitter stream. Like, here's the thing.
Like some sound bites and stuff?
Right.
Some royalty-free music?
Most people do not want a Spaces-based
advertisements?
App. Right. Most people do not want a Spaces-based app with Twitter in it. You want a Twitter-based app with Spaces in it, but hosts, people who do it regularly, would actually prefer a Spaces-based app with Twitter in it, and I think that would be really successful. And this way, because there's only so much you can add to a UI before it becomes clunky. I mean, Twitter even lost their fucking mind, like with that communities thing. Like the bottom of the Twitter bar was out of its mind for a little bit there, and still, you're trying to balance simplicity of UI with as many features as you want. So I would argue for at least a prosumer Spaces hosts app. Elon, get on that. Thank you. And announce Doge as the native currency today. I'm very long the Doge currency.
I guess finally, not to be looked over, Binance put a little $500 million investment into Twitter with Elon. So, while we've been talking about Twitter and Elon, this really does have a lot of impact on our industry. We've even just in the last 24 hours seen that some hints at NFTs being able to be purchased on Twitter. This will all translate into a pretty substantial effect for crypto, for NFTs eventually too. As we know that, he is pro decentralized currency. He is for all of this stuff.
Can I just paint a scenario for you?
Sure.
Elon buys Twitter, takes it private. There's no more equity on the public stock exchange. He puts it on a blockchain. He releases Twitter coin. What price does Twitter coin go to? Now, Twitter coin, here's
I honestly think it's more in line with what you would say. I would say that it would have a heavy Doge integration.
Yeah, and there's a lot of reasons why you would probably want to use an existing one versus building, especially for just SEC interference into your business, right? Like if you're
we saw that with Libra and Facebook. They do not want them to do that.
Yeah, no. But
and that's fair. That is fair.
Here's what's interesting. Here's my thought. I think the next cycle, stable coins, it's not that they're like, stable coins are the next big investment. I think they're going to take the next big iteration and what they're used for. Like, I think to myself, do people, does tipping in Doge make sense to most people, or would some sort of stable coin where they just understand if I tip $1, it's $1? Is that more logical? MakerDAO, baby. Aave. I hear you. What are they what's it called? Ghost? Is that going to be the name of their? If we're gonna pick stable coins based on the name, Ghost is definitely the winner there. That's the coolest. That's the coolest stable coin.
Ghost?
Isn't that going to be Aave's stable?
GHOZT?
Yeah. Yeah, because isn't that the name of their protocol or whatever they do?
I don't know. I've never.
You look lost. I feel like if I bring up anything that was made before 2018, rage builds up in your brain and you shut down.
No, you know what? Honestly, guys, I'm sick as a dog right now.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, and I'm just this is my Jordan flu game right now. I'm just like we're gonna do it.
No one would have known.
Hold me up, Scotty. Like,
No one would have known had I not just browbeated you on air.
yeah, you look lost. Like, yeah, I am. I'm fucking lost, man. No, yeah. Oh God, you every time you say Ripple, I just shut down. Guys, it is episode 159. Halfway into the show, we'll do the intro now. We just got right into the Elon conversation because I think that is the big one of the day. Again, maybe not as crypto and Web3 as we normally try to be, but honestly, at this point, it's our show and we talk about whatever we want. And we appreciate the people that enjoy just listening to us riff on this stuff. Crypto is going, I guess, sideways. We had that nice little run there a couple days ago. ETH trading at down 1% on the day, but holding above 1,500. It was actually slightly below that this morning, but we got a little bit of a bounce there. Bitcoin just holding on to the $20,000 mark. Doge, obviously doing all right in the wake of the Elon Twitter announcement. And of course, no official news has come from that, but we all know how Elon feels and his relationship with Doge, and that was a bullish signal for it. It is up 36% on the week and a nice healthy 10% on the day. S&P, of course, delayed by 10 minutes on my screen, is up almost 1%. So
we just made new highs, baby. We are yeah, it's, we're ripping right now. And again, I've tried to stress that these last few weeks have been about the market rising on bad news, what has been perceived as bad news. Okay, the hot inflation numbers, the earnings from certain, bellwethers, right? Google destroyed, Meta destroyed.
Okay,
Yeah.
question. You see Jim Cramer crying on TV about his Meta call?
Today or when?
You didn't see that?
No, he was crying.
Yeah, he was like, I just thought better about this management, and I made a call, and they show the graph like zooming out from like where he called it at the 1 trillion mark, and he's just like this and all of these metrics, and I thought, that might be the time to buy.
It is. Oh, I got.
I was like, Jim Cramer crying on TV about his call for Meta, saying that it was like up only at $1 trillion.
Oh,
feels like a buy.
I bought Meta and Intel 2 weeks ago. All right. And I proclaimed when I bought those, I said a portfolio of Snapchat, Meta, and Intel will outperform all funds on the street over the next 6 months. Now, I'm down 20% on the Meta, which is fine. Okay.
No. It is a funny segue into that. But yeah.
No, literally though, I stand by that call 100%, and I am adding here. Okay. And my Intel is up 50%. My Snapchat is up 40%. Okay. So you can knock the one call that's down 20%. The other two stocks are up a lot more than that. And it was a 6-month call. I'm not married to any of these companies. In fact, if you search these names on my Twitter, it used to be called Facebook. So you'd have to search $FB. But I have been a Facebook, Intel, and Snapchat. Well, I did like Snapchat in 2020. I won't lie. But I hated Meta and Intel for years. But it's very obvious to me when markets capitulate on an idea. And if markets capitulate on some company and it's not going out of business, if it's going to zero, which is a rare thing, that's different. But if it's not going out of business and you see someone like Jim Cramer crying on television talking about his call,
look at him.
The thing is also everyone makes fun. The best way to know when something is bottoming or topping is see if the shit posters are making fun of it. The moment I see shit posters making memes about something, I fade it. That's my favorite fade signal right now. I wish we could quantify it. I'm sure there are funds that have, but I still love Amazon, which is getting killed this morning, Meta, Intel, and Snapchat here. Back to my main point.
You know what's on his laptop as he sits there on TV crying about his Meta call? Huh?
Twitter?
No.
Yeah. What?
It's his portfolio. He's clicking buy on Meta stock.
Well, here's my overarching point. Markets don't bottom on good news. I've said that many times. The last 2 weeks, anything could change, but exactly what happens at bottoms has happened. We've had perceived bad news for weeks, and the market has ramped in this face of it. And yesterday, you get more terrible earnings. Market's gonna tank. Bears are like, yes, we did it. Haha, you idiots. Still a bear market. Look at us today. We're ripping. And this entire leg has been defined by that. Now, here's the trick. Next week is going to be the opposite. You're going to have good news all week. You have the Fed, who's going to be hinting at a soft pivot. Good news. You have payrolls, which are going to have remained strong in the face of the most aggressive interest rate campaign in history. Good. You're going to have continued earnings from companies now that the bad ones are out of the way that are going to be good. And you're going to have the first soft CPI coming up November 10th. But guess what the market's going to do? Bonds and the dollar are all going to go the way we want. Rates are going to go down. The dollar's going to go down. But stocks will also be down. Why? Because they need to trick everyone at the bottom. The reason people tell you not to play bottoms is because all logic will be disbanded. We've had bad news for 2 weeks. Market has been up only. We're about to get good news for 2 weeks. Market's going to be down only. People are going to be confused. Guess what? You buy that weakness. Okay, this is your last opportunity to get in at low prices for the next 6 months. Very good chance we double dip next year. But this is how bottoms are formed. All the signs are there. You have a great risk reward here. You never go all in on any concept. We always talk about probabilities. Boy, do I love the risk reward here. You don't buy today. Today is the bull trap. It's going to reverse. We're all bullish again. Ha ha. The FOMO was justified. Next week, I think we get killed at some point. Maybe not Monday. Could be Tuesday or Wednesday. It pans out. But until we get past inflation, which is November 10th, I do think we're going to see weakness. And it's going to fool people because bonds and the dollar will both be going the way people want. Everyone's going to be like, oh, bonds, why is this happening? Dollar's finally cratering, yet stocks are going down. It'll make no sense, and that's why it fools people. That's the mode we're in right now. Just learn about it and take advantage of it.
Guys, thank you so much for tuning in. Do us a solid. Hit the like button on the bottom of the screen if you have the time to. Appreciate it. Let's do a little bit of a recap about some stuff we talked about earlier. Reddit NFTs, the hype was very short-lived. Don't see any talk about it much on Twitter anymore. That was a fun 24 hours. The prices are down, and now Reddit is saying, ha, idiots. I just thought that was fun. It was I don't know if you're bullish long term on this. I still think I am too. I might even just wait for the attention and some of it to wear off. But I scroll Reddit pretty frequently, just as like some news, some information, and just a general sense.
Don't be coy. We know you're a Reddit boy. You a Reddit?
No, I used to be. I hate. This kind of goes back to the social media conversation we had with Twitter. Like, I hate the mentality on there. It is very hive mindish, and there's a lot of like really bad rhetoric of like, don't work, you're going to be poor anyways, everybody's out to fuck you. Like, we live in a time where you have some of the greatest opportunity to make your own wealth ever. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it is more accessible now than ever. And there's a narrative out there, and this isn't even like hustle bro culture. Like, I'm not saying rise and grind, like time to go make some money, blah blah blah. Like, it's easier to build a business, it's easier to build a brand, it's easier to build a community, a following, all of these, a website even, right? Like, all of these things are like really just at your disposal now. Even with AI generation, you can't even, you might not be an artist and you can go make some art if you're good with your words. Like, there's tons of opportunity out there, and there's this idea on Reddit that like everybody's out to get you, don't bother, rich people are all assholes, like Elon's buying Twitter to rule the world and grift everybody, all that stuff. But back to the Reddit PFP avatars, never saw really any of that conversation going down on Reddit while Twitter was blowing up with them. And now that they've fallen in price, people are like, why would anyone buy $100 PFP and look at the price now and blah, blah, blah. It's been fun to watch.
Yeah. Yeah. I again, when this happened, all the pumps that have happened this year, when they're happening, people think it's different this time. This is classic, like market, psychology here, where you see in traditional markets, people are a little more seasoned than that, in the sense that, like, there are memes that say it's different this time, or the most dangerous words in the English language, and things like that. But there have been cooks over the bear market that probably have long-term legs. I just think people keep getting hyped on the same thing. This is what we talked about when it was dropping. This wasn't different. In fact, you even had people on Twitter making fun of the Reddit people, like, oh, the difference between these and NFTs is that these actually have utility, like blah, 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 blah. Like, okay, you can laugh at that because it's the same thing people said about NFTs over the last 6 months. And the biggest utility you've seen in NFTs so far has been hoodies. This is the number one utility in all NFTs. Like, oh, hoodie's dropping. We got our hoodie, hoodie, get your hoodie. This is NFT utility. There was nothing new about these, but I kind of agree with you, R2. I think these, in a sense, will have historic relevance. I also mentioned on the show, and I still believe this, even though it's now up 5% from there, that the best play on this is Matic. I think really this is one of the bigger narratives we think is going to happen next cycle is the L2 narrative, and I do think Matic leads that charge. I mean, I think they could 50x from where they are. They could be $100 billion company with real revenues, doing deals with mad big Web2 brands.
Yeah. I mean, Matic aside, the exciting. No, I know. I don't have any commentary on L2s. I always have this thing in the back of my mind that, like, they might not need to exist, right? And that scares me. But like, I understand why they exist right now.
You think ETH could be gasless? Because we're not talking low gas, okay? I'm not talking, because for Disney to be able to sell Mickey Mouse NFTs, it's just got to be the price of the NFT.
Well, look, I mean,
anything.
If the throughput of ETH L1 post-merge can get to the 100,000 transactions per second, which they say it can, and of course we all know that didn't happen overnight and it was never intended to, what would be the cost of gas if getting on that train is easy? Do you know what I mean?
MasterCard does $4 million. Per sec.
Okay, yeah, that's fine. Except, like, how often do you think they're even remotely close to that 4 million per second?
Okay, that I don't know. I guess
that's probably their total transactional bandwidth, but I would wager, at any given time, there's maybe tens of thousands of transactions going through.
I would not know.
You got to think per second, right? Like per second.
Yeah, but billions of people in the world.
Yeah, but okay, like if the average person taps their card 3 times a day and there's a billion MasterCard users, right? Like if you divide that down by how many seconds there are in a day, I would guess that you're probably in the tens of thousands. Now that I realize I could do that math, I might eventually. But I could probably Google it too. But I always love that website, that the visualization of the ETH network of getting onto the subway car, right? Or the train station. I've pulled that up before. You know what I'm talking about?
Say it again. Which one?
There's a visualization. I'll try and find it. Hold on. ETH train station. Let's see what that. txstreet.com. Okay, I'm going to pull this up right now.
Yeah.
Launch. So there's all these different platforms that use the ETH network, right?
Yeah.
And there's all these people that are trying to get onto the train, which is send the transaction. Okay.
Yeah.
Your gas that you're sending is basically your bid to get on the train before other people. If you send higher gas, you get priority to get on the train first, right?
Yes.
if there's only 20 seats on that train, you're competing with a lot of people for very few spots, and therefore you have to put a higher gas to get it in, or else it will either never send or take for a long time. If that train's capacity goes up to 100,000, the competition to get a seat on that train becomes a lot smaller, and therefore the price has to reduce dramatically. It just has to,
Yeah,
because
what
that's how it works.
I guess they do on average about 5,000 per second from the data I could find.
MasterCard?
Yeah, Visa, MasterCard.
Yeah. And 5,000 people tapping every second. I mean, that's an incredible business model because they're taking a 2% cut of every time somebody does that. But like I said, 4,000 or 4 million per second. Like I can guarantee you they've probably almost never come within that.
What
Maybe
are
around
two?
Christmas time.
Who gets a cut on the Ethereum transactions that are processed every second?
Well, I'm glad you asked. Isn't it the stakers?
That is.
This
Are
is
we sponsored by Rocket Pool right now? Like, come
I
on,
guess not, I
someone
don't know.
sponsor
But
us. That was perfect.
again, like just going back to that point, like, yeah, gas fees have to come down to almost near zero if there's 100,000 transactions per second, because
Okay.
you just don't have to put in a big bid to get your spot on the train.
Boy, I would be bullish it's on ETH. If
Yeah, exactly. But this is why I maybe short term Polygon L2s have like a real justifiable use case. I think that there will always be a use for L2 like Lightning Network on Bitcoin, because Bitcoin isn't changing in the same way, and that's fine, because I don't think Bitcoin is ever going to be used in the same way. But in terms of something like Ethereum, I just like look, there's 75,000 pending transactions on the ETH network right now. In due time, that will be zero because they will go through every second. You know what I mean? Like, it's just the throughput will be so high. And that's why
Bitcoin will top at $330,000 in 2029, and Ethereum will top at $2 million.
I don't even remember. Oh, final thought on the Reddit thing, because that's how we got from there from Polygon, was just that like my biggest bull case about the Reddit thing was the onboarding experience that they did, because I thought that they just nailed it. Right. And that is what we talk about for mass adoption. Do I think these OG Reddit avatars will have value in the future? Yeah, because Reddit is such a big platform. And if all of a sudden most of the people on Reddit not all of a sudden, if slowly but surely all of the people on Reddit start to adopt digital ownership and digital assets, the OG ones will just be more expensive by virtue. I mean, that's CryptoPunks in a nutshell, right?
Um,
Um,
doesn't Ethereum process more than financial transactions? I mean, they sell NFTs. It's the world's supercomputer. Should we be comparing it to MasterCard? That's the Bitcoin comparison. We should probably be comparing ETH to the internet and how many transactions occur on the internet than
yeah, now you're talking an entirely different kind of number,
Okay,
but
so I think L2s are going to be fine, especially for the next few cycles. So
yeah,
long.
sure. I'm not saying that this is going to be overnight. All of a sudden, they're dead. I always wonder about their long term. Um, I mean, 100,000 transactions per second. That's 6 million a minute, 36 million per hour, or 360 million per hour. I don't know.
What
Yeah.
about HTTPS requests per second?
Yeah, but you don't have to send ETH to be viewing things on the ETH network either, right?
No, I'm just saying that there are so many other things people like gaming. What if gaming is occurring on ETH, right?
Right.
You
Yeah.
would need the L2s for gaming.
Okay. All right. That's fair. That's fair, especially if you're dead set on entirely on chain gaming, like every button click
Well, yeah,
matters.
and
But we are so far away from it being responsive enough for
I'm just
that, right? I
thinking,
mean,
I'm thinking out loud though. There's the
no,
pitch,
no, that's
right?
fair.
Like you
Yeah,
leave Ethereum as
good point.
the global financial transaction layer, which hey happens to have a deflationary currency. Okay, so that's number one, and then you add in L2s for specific uses. You know, this is this L2, and this is this L2, right? Like that type of
Yeah.
thing, and I think it will again be a badge of honor for your art or your game to be on L1 in a way. Like it'll be less a badge, just more the fact that rich people like to pay more money for things. It makes them feel good about being rich, right? So
Abdul saying, check out Mute ZK rollups. You know what? I'm gonna get in the habit of having a document open while we do this show, so that I can write down things that we didn't get to talk about, or interesting thoughts that we just didn't expand on, and B, if you guys throw anything out there,
I
that we
am
can.
I am so FOMO'd on this ZK Sync airdrop that's happening because I'm not eligible for it. And I guarantee it's going to be the big money one because all the smart people are eligible for the airdrop and all the morons aren't. So all the morons are going to go pump their bags the moment that coin goes live.
Well,
Hi, I'm in the moron camp.
let's talk about that next show then too. What is it?
ZK Sync, I believe, is the big ZK rollup platform. Let me make sure.
Like, let that sink in.
Yes. Ha 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 ha. Yes.
Oh, shut up.
See, I made the joke better.
Okay,
Oh,
let's move
man.
on.
R2, Tom and Giselle are filing divorce docs today.
Are they?
Yeah.
Man, he is not looking good, eh? Like
Well,
he looks like he's aged like 20 years this season.
yeah, I mean, it's a bear market, divorce, loss. This is the type of thing that
Well,
will
his team sucks.
bring any man to its knees. Yes, yes.
It's not like he's chasing a Super Bowl this season. He's just L's all around.
you
Tough
know,
look for the Brady legacy. TB12.
well, and I am not one of those people that thinks it matters because if you're really that good, no one's even going to give a shit or look. In the future, like people don't even care. It'll
Yeah,
be like
Tiger Woods has become like a beloved figure in golf right now.
Yeah.
Like everyone gets behind him whenever he's rallying, and it wasn't too long ago
because you never know. Look, you never know when his body will accidentally snap back into coordination, and he'll be.
I thought you were going to say snap in half, like in the middle of the golf. Like
that is a very real possibility as well.
Yes. Yeah. Let's talk Degenheim also while we're following up on stuff. Degenheim finally revealed, and boy, that's not good. I don't really know what else to say about this, but I mean, they kind of
bad. These are bad.
they kind of teased some of the art style out in their teaser videos with the gameplay that they had. But I mean, you look at this gameplay that they're showing, and like it looks sick, right? We showed that on the show. We were pretty bullish on it, like Web3 gaming, blah blah blah. Action RPGs are right in line with things that I think work really well with Web3 gaming. Diablo 3 with the real money auction house already proved it years and years ago before NFTs were even a thing. Degenheim, super hyped. I mean, you kind of made the point. Super hyped on Discord, not super hyped on Twitter. Maybe there's some something on to that. They had some reveal delays. They were holding pretty good above mint price, though. They were 2x mint, just over, right? They minted for 0.08, and the reveal hit, and now they are half of the mint price, and it's not good. The big epic game, and this looks like something out of a children's storybook, like My First Book About Llamas or something like that. Llamas.
Yeah, they're hideous. The rollout was bad. The art is bad. The preview is good. Thank you. That is Degenheim.
Yeah, I mean, there's part of me that's like, if this drops low enough, then maybe I'm like, get to that logic of like, well, the game's supposed to be good, so maybe. But I mean, it is disappointing. I don't own any of these, and I haven't owned any of these, but I was following it closely because I did know a lot of people that were pretty hyped on it, and it's not a great look. It's not the worst reveal we've ever had, but it's certainly not. It's not impressing anyone, and I haven't seen anybody apologizing for it either. Right? Like, are there Degenheim bulls that are like, no, this is good. This is really good. We did it. We got there.
And Mr. Sandman, go to the ZK Sync website. There's an airdrop tab. You can go see how many tokens you're eligible for. If you did at least 3 transactions, you're eligible for something.
What was that?
Yeah.
What was that? That Cheech and Chong project where the art came out and we were like, what? Like,
I forgot the name of it.
you know what I'm talking about, though, right?
Yeah.
Like, it just didn't. And then, like, the Dippies or whatever, that was like, oh, that's what it should have been. Is that right? Remember Dippies?
Yeah, they were hyped for a week.
Like, why on the website of Degenheim do you show all of this art like this, right? This guy's wearing a llama shoulder pad or something like that. Like, that looks pretty sick. I could get in line with that. Why doesn't your PFP look like that? I don't know.
Because we're surrounded by smooth brain.
NFT is dead.
Yeah. Well, no, I think airdrop season will be upon us right after the holidays. And that lines up with both expected macro tailwinds. I don't know the future. It seems like it's lining up that way, but also traditional seasonality. You're talking about, especially for crypto and NFTs, the 2 most bullish months of the year in and year out. You combine that with airdrop season, some macro tailwinds where a soft landing narrative is going to pervade. You got a chance for a mini run here. I'm not saying all-time highs on NFTs by any means, but I expect a lot of projects to drop because, again, you don't think smart people are sitting around having this conversation we're having right now and saying, hey, we have a high quality mint. Let's aim for this window because there'll likely be a lot of airdrops and hype and whatever. I would expect even Ether to push till next year till that happens. And yeah.
I mean, my gut is telling me the NFT winter lasts longer than the crypto winter does for sure. But that's not necessarily true or even a bad thing, honestly.
Here's what's going to happen, right? Coins are about to be very bullish. You're going to have 28,000 Bitcoin, 2,000 ETH, a bunch of smaller coins will have ramped. Then in January, February, they're going to pause and they're going to go sideways. Everyone's going to be trying to figure out whether we're flagging for higher or getting ready to top and go lower. And during that sideways period, NFTs will do very well. You can take this sound clip and save it because I'll tell you that NFTs will not do well while the coins ramp over the next few months, though you'll probably see at least them come off their lows. I shouldn't say they won't do well. But I do think the higher coins go, the more NFTs are just going to pause or revert to their dollar value, right? This happens, especially in bear markets. People be looking at the dollar value of those NFTs, and the ETH price likely reverts to that if, ETH goes up 70% from here. So certainly I would think that if NFTs do have a mini bull run within this bear, it's going to be in January, February.
Yeah. I think we got a little bit longer to go, but I mean, there seems to be some life kind of popping up. Ether Orcs and Digi Daigaku announcing, I guess, kind of the announcement of a collaboration,
A long-term partnership.
Long-term partnership, yeah. I when Poof started tweeting out yesterday that they had big news coming, I don't think it was like a huge secret about what it was going to be about. It was, as you put it in the pre-show, the worst kept secret in the internet, right? This to yesterday or something like that. But they had been on Spaces together. They interact with all of each other's tweets, yada yada yada. So definitely saw a very short-term pump on the EtherWorks floor. I remember seeing this yesterday that there was an announcement coming, and I thought, okay, Digi Daigaku, like maybe I should start buying some orcs. I have never actually owned an ether orc, and I still haven't. But I saw them at point 0.6, and I thought, maybe that would be a good buy here, knowing what's to come. Of course, they made the sort of announcement of the long term partnership, and the floor ripped like to 1 ETH, and then the volume just kind of stopped. And now we're actually below the floor price that we were at the same time yesterday. So, um, not not a huge market mover just yet for Ether Orcs, but I mean, good for them in terms of marketing. As I think it's been widely acknowledged that marketing is one of not their strongest suits. And marketing's not easy. It's so easy for people to say when marketing. It's not just as simple as like tweet more or do more. But for the quality that EtherOrcs has put out, and it's been on chain active for over a year now, it is going to go down as one of the OG, or if not the OG, like Web3 game. And it's nice to see it getting some attention, and hopefully Digi Daigaku can kind of um, pull them up with it, because that is a brand that is very good at getting attention.
Yeah, and the emphasis here is that this is a long-term partnership. This is not a partnership by name or one character being inserted into the other's game for the sake of partnership. We know that Ether Orcs wants to build into a global, mobile, gigantic Web3 MMORPG fantasy
Digi Daigaku.
I think I've thrown all the words out there I can go with. Property. And who better to help them along than Gabe, Digi Daigaku, and the financing of Binance, right? And, it's not just Binance. It's the idea that any of these successful properties that built from nothing. I mean, Orcs was a free mint before free mints were a thing. And they're going to need funding, employees, technology, all the things that you need to build out something like that. And there's probably not a better project to be partnering with right now. We know Gabe over at Digi Daigaku and Poof are friendly. And this was the worst kept secret in NFTs, as these two have been having a bromance in public for a few weeks now.
For sure.
It is such a welcome marriage of very, very good teams, and really look forward to. They said early November. So, yeah, this was an announcement of an announcement, but I'm very, very excited to see what these two put together. And the floor was 0.5 before the announcement. Before Poof said an announcement was coming out tonight, quote unquote. Over the preceding 6 hours, it got up to about 0.8. When the announcement dropped, there was a pump to 1 as Orcs lit up Moby and traders and bots started buying them. And now the floor is back to 0.6, about 0.1 above where it was before the announcement was announced. And it's all people taking a loss. So it's people who bought at 0.9 or 1 ETH, selling them for a loss on the floor. So this was essentially a scam pump, and we will see how much legs it has as the details of the partnership come out. Bottom line is, you like to see it. And if you haven't played Ether Orcs, this is the first fully on-chain game in this category we now call Web3 gaming, which is called by many to be the next major trend. So good stuff here.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at some of the sales and the stuff that are on the floor, like, it is just bought 6 hours ago, listed 2 hours ago for a loss. Not that that really matters. It was just a lot of people doing that speculative trade. Moby lights up, and as you kind of mentioned, bots buy, people buy, and then volume dies and it drops right down. The other thing too is there are this percentage listed can be a little bit of a misleading metric, right? Like 3% is very low. A lot of these are on the Polygon, you got to bridge them, whatnot. But I mean, we talk about BGANs all the time, right? Like, oh, only 2% listed, diamond hands. The second that a little bit of volume kind of creeps up in there and the floor price starts going up, the listings go very, very high, because especially in these longer term projects that have been suppressed for a while, you know, people are looking for an exit point, and they will exit into volume, right? So uh, if you're buying stuff solely based on the fact that percent listed is super low and there's only X amount to this level and Y amount to double that, and you know, you got to be cognizant of the fact that the second any of the volume picks up and any of these tools start to show volume in them, like, people are going to come out of the woodworks and they list quickly. And it is always incredible to me how active all of these wallets still are too, right? Like, you would think, oh, NFTs have been quiet, people aren't paying attention anymore, but like, nope, the second that starts going up, the second that you start getting weth offers on stuff and your email starts going on, like, yeah, people will flock to it and de-risk out of the project. So just always use that as a little bit of a thought process when you're looking at it too, right? Because EtherOrcs yesterday was only 2% listed, and now it's 3%. And that doesn't seem like a big jump, but it's, you know, 50% higher than it was yesterday. And that's,
yeah, there were 70 orcs listed yesterday, or 68 or something like that.
Yeah,
now there's
exactly.
110.
Right.
And
It's a big jump.
yes. And again, though, this isn't, you know, a project that gets real volume. Like, there are announcements that can move projects, right? And you can't ignore that there was a play here. In fact, the play was broadcast in the Orcs Discord by none other than Fleur. Shout out to Fleur. It was such a slow, easy play. Okay. When Poof made the announcement, they were 0.5. They sat there for like hours at 0.5, 0.6. All you had to do was buy them at 0.5, know an announcement was coming later, not be greedy, list it at 2x, and get your money. You can. We talked about this the other day. There's 100 projects out there you can do that with right now and get an easy 2 to 5x, not because they'll be able to hold that floor price, but because it gets artificially pumped in the announcement phase. So it's not about thinking, oh, you know, there's so low listings, so this is going to pump to 10 ETH easy, and then it's going to have a 10 ETH floor. That's not the right thinking. But you can easily double, triple, or even quint. Like, again, something like Little Lemons. One day, it would take nothing to pump it to 0.12. You could buy 10 at 0.03, list them at 0.12, and just wait. And some month, you're just going to have an easy 4x that just came out of nowhere. Doesn't mean they'll hold 0.12. They could be back at 0.03 in hours. But again, this is NFTs. It's a low liquid market. And people say that as a cautionary thing, but if you're smart, you know how you could take advantage of that too. And it was done perfectly yesterday by Fleur, who made an ETH just flipping orcs into the announcement.
And if you're still long on the project, but you're aware that it'll happen, like, there's nothing stopping you from rebuying once it round trips too, right?
Yeah, exactly. Like, and I had
you
that.
can miss out on that sometimes. Sometimes
Right.
swing trading bites you in the ass. It happens, but you know.
I just thought that this was going to be a joint announcement between Digi Daigaku and Orcs. And Orcs have twice the supply of Digi Daigaku, or 3 times, I should say, almost 3 times the supply of Digi Daigaku. So you would think they could get to a third of the price, which is 4 or 5 ETH, which is actually still way under the USD value of where Orcs were at their peak. And with such, again, a low amount on there's only 100 there. If there was a real huge announcement, they would be at 5 ETH in a second. And yes, the floor would be bombed back to 1 overnight. But again, you're going to make an easy quick flip that way. So if you have a bunch of orcs, you know, I have a ton of orcs. For me to leave 2 up there at 5 ETH and just wait for something crazy to happen, and then I'll probably be able to buy 5 at 1 ETH within a few days, have more, and be able to pocket 5 ETH. So think about, there's orcs, but there's 10 projects out there that are like this. I mean, you know, the ones that have communities that linger, really thin floor that community members talk about every other day. Oh, we only have 100 listed. Oh, we only have it. Perfect play. Put a little capital there if you're just sitting on it and doing nothing. List it 2x, 3x. It's free money.
It's true.
It's
true. Or you could just be like me and have a wallet full of things that will never get off of zero.
Oh, I caution you, sir.
Mm.
No, I don't. They're going this way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There are definitely lots that will just never move again. It's
so fine. If I tell you to turn around and take some medicine because you're not feeling well, what are you picking?
What?
You have a whole row, shelf of medicine behind you. That's good when you're not feeling well. Which one are you picking? The Balmoral? The 21-year-old Balmoral?
No.
What are you gonna drink on air for all the people while I take a Friday bong hit?
I'm not drinking anything, man. I feel like shit.
Oh,
these are all just like cocktail mixers too, though. They're not like. I don't know.
Hey, my grandmother always used to say a nice shot of vermouth when you're not feeling well will really make you much sicker. So.
Yeah, yeah. I didn't know where you were going with that. I'm like, I am not drinking vermouth right now. Fernet, people drink this. They're like, yeah, I'll just have Fernet straight.
Fernet.
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 This stuff. Have you had this stuff? Oh my god, this bottle's not even open. I just opened
it. Oh, did you just open a bottle on the air? It's bad. You have 3 years. Years of bad luck if you don't drink. If you open a bottle on the air and you don't drink.
That's not true.
Come on, audience.
This stuff
is well-known fact.
Drinking mint.
Yep.
Great for cocktails.
No, I would say brandy. That's traditionally known. If you're not feeling well, you drink a little stifter of brandy.
I don't have any brandy. I don't have brandy. Oh. I like the Amaro. My favorite cocktail. Well, my second favorite cocktail, the Paper Plane.
Oh, tell me about the Paper Plane, sir.
It is whiskey, Amaro, Campari. Why am I drawing a blank on this? I am so out of it right now. I'm gonna have to look it up. It's so good though. Paper Plane. Yeah, it's been a while since I've made one. I order them frequently. Oh, bourbon. Sorry, bourbon, Amaro, Aperol, and lemon juice. That's right. Served in a. God, what are those called? I'm so out of it, man. Fuck.
You want to wind it down, Bubby?
No, well, yeah, we can wind it down. We can chill. What are those called, though? What are those? What are those glasses called? You should know this.
Gimlet.
Gimlet. Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Dan, I'm not even a bartender.
That's a good drink, though. That's a good drink. My favorite is the Negroni, though. Gin, sweet vermouth, and Campari.
Yeah.
Equal parts, stirred. 1 large ice cube. A nice little piece of the lemon zest. No, lemon. Orange, sorry. See, fuck. Wow.
Good I like a
you can go for one of those. Right,
I like a Macallan 21 straight. I like a...
Scotch is something I've never been able to get into.
I like an Armagnac. A nice sifter of Armagnac. Not cognac. It's cousin Armagnac, which is from a similar region, very close by in France. And if I were going to do a cocktail, and I don't normally, but if I'm going to do one, it's an old-fashioned in the winter and a Tanqueray and tonic in the summer. I'm feeling fancy.
Oh, Tanqueray and tonic, yeah.
Yeah. I love a good...
You know what is a great summer drink? Very refreshing. Tequila and tonic.
I've never had it. I can't... Well, maybe. I can't recall. Good.
No, it's not very common because I say it to people and they're like, what, really? The flavors pair so well together. You just drop a lemon a lime in there.
What do you use? Because tequila can be so wide ranging in the way
silver, just a silver tequila.
Silver, okay. Yeah, that
makes
sense.
Don't buy an expensive one for it, but don't buy paint thinner tequila either.
Migos, no, not me.
Casamigos. Yeah,
Casamigos.
Or Cazadoras. Yeah, Cazadora's a good one.
Yeah.
I don't know what we have up here. Like the ideal one for that, and it's a lot cheaper in the States than it is here, so I don't use it, would be like just your base Patron Silver, though.
Okay.
Yeah.
I went through a tequila phase where it was the only shot I used to drink, but I've settled on brown. I think it's
Do
my
love
European roots. Yeah, brown liquor, you know, like cognac, Armagnac, my favorite. But I
Yep.
like Scotch too.
Bourbon's one of my favorites too.
Yeah,
Hot apple cider and bourbon together is
see, I like that. I like
yeah,
that. S
just a
and
thing of
P.
beauty.
S&P new highs on the day, 38.70. Bears in absolute shambles right now. ETH 1536 off its 1490 lows. Apple technology up 7%, $10 right now after being down 4% in sympathy with Amazon, which is now only down 8% on the day at $101 a share. It was at 110 before earnings yesterday. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a reversal on our hands.
A little round of applause there. Cambo, people drink Fernet straight. Yeah, it's just like it's a restaurant industry thing. Like I don't know why it is, but they'll just show up and like 4 of them after their shift and all drink Fernet. And I don't know if it's just like a glutton for punishment thing, but you can always tell when somebody is like a bartender or something. They just drink Fernet after their shift.
I've never heard of Fernet.
Fernet, again, great cocktail mixer. It's so potently minty. It's
Cambo, Bubby, can you hop in my Discord? I could have saved you some money there. Please go join my Discord.
Am I still in your Discord, or did you make a new one? I think
You
I left
are.
it.
You are.
I think I left it.
Because I was telling people to sell 1550s and wait for under 1500 to rebuy. So.
You'll have to invite me back in, because I remember doing a Discord purge and like being in there and seeing like no messages for like 2 months. So I think
imagine seeing my beautiful Begon and then being unjoined. Imagine.
I don't know why I did that. I'm still in clouded ones.
It's all right.
The only person that chats in there is the May bot.
I was thinking. I know.
Baby.
I go in every once in a while just to think, you know, oh, what could have been. But
what could have been? That was a good community. We were the premier community of BitClout for a brief.
We had investments from Social Capital, from the CEO of FanDuel.
Yeah,
I mean, think about that. Think about this resume, people.
We had some legitimate VCs in there, Bruck.
Yep. Ooh, Doge, new highs, baby. Watch out. Watch out. It's coming.
Now, and I told you to sell.
I know. Now, if you are 10x long Doge, like some YouTube hosts you may know, 9 cents is tough resistance. Maybe you don't go flat, but certainly take leverage off there, because it could easily, you know, it's a 9-cent coin. It could fall to 8 cent overnight and be back at 9 before you wake up. Yeah, old Nigel. We love Nigel.
God, remember almost 80 cents Doge. Nigel, yeah, analyze. Still a lot of BitClout, BitClout homies kicking around.
I wrote a thread I talk about a lot when Doge was at 0.003 cents. And I said it was going to $10, but I did say it was going to obviously go to $1 and pull back first. Got pretty close, 70-something cents, I guess, at the top. But Doge will be $10 one day. You've heard it here on this show.
One day. What is your time frame for?
That's a good 200x from here, isn't it? Or no, 100x now.
You know, one of the reasons why I always lament, like when we're talking about 2017, 2018 cryptocurrencies, was because my ability to pick them was not very good. But like I remember these days, like, oh my God, Doge is at a penny. Which, I mean, you know, over the 4 or 5 years now being an 8x is not particularly astonishing. But like, I do remember when it was like less than 1/10 of a cent too. Like, man, those gains on some of these coins are obscene.
Yeah, and we talk about certainly having a lot of capital for new concepts, but hey, there are going to be things from the last cycle that do very well. And obviously, this term is bastardized and abused in this industry, but a quote unquote blue chip, right? It sounds silly, but I consider Doge one of those coins that's never going away, right? So, in a sense, like I always say, if Doge got
It's one of 5 that I would bet on that don't go away.
yeah, exactly. And if I have said for a few months now, if Doge got to 2 or 3 cents, I would absolutely. That feels like an easy 300x over the next 5 or 6 years.
$2 or $3.
No, 2 or 3 cents, and then I think it would go. I would ape, and then Doge. I'm talking about.
Oh, like if it dropped to 2 or 3 cents.
Dropped to 2 or 3 cents.
Yeah. Sorry, I thought you meant if it went. Okay.
Yeah. So I'm very bullish on particular coins from the last cycle, but my thought is you put half your money in the safe things.
Yeah.
Or I should say you put half your ETH in the safe stuff in the alts, and you always want to keep half in USDT or USDC to take advantage of both pullbacks and spot. There are times to increase your percentage of spot, but also just to take advantage of new things. The new things always pump the most, you know?
Sandman, I had to sell my Doge bag at 6.5 cents for the down payment on my house. I can't bear to look at it right now. Honestly, assuming you had some good appreciation on that Doge bag, like, good for you. Like, having some real world benefit of the gains is important too. Everyone, if I sell now, I could miss out on a 10x, but you still got to live your life, right? Like, you still have to enjoy the fruits of that risk, because eventually everything goes to zero.
Yeah.
Even if that is just your lifespan, which sounds morbid, but I mean, like, you know.
Right. And I think that it's at 8.5 cents right now, so it's 2 cents above where you sold it. I wouldn't panic. If anything, I think Doge gets to 16 cents on this leg, maybe 30 cents by February or March.
Wow, really?
Yeah. Then I think next summer it falls all the way back down, so you'll have a chance to. But 16 cents is my target right now on event risk. Okay, Doge was meandering between 12 and 16 cents all through that May, June period when people were like, "Are we going to take one more leg down? Are we going to take one more leg down?" That's what we call in technical analysis price memory, right? So if shorts are forced to cover and there's some sort of news risk that forces people long, you expect price to go back to its last point where it broke down from. So that 12 to 16 cent resistance band would be your target. 30 cents is the last big level that it broke down from when it was still, when everyone still had hope in their beautiful little Shiba Inu eyes. That would be best case scenario if we get those macro tailwinds I've been warning you about. I think we have clear runway for 6 months in markets, and dips are to be bought. If that changes, and things often, in fact, likely do in markets, you will hear the updates on this show. For now, I foresee very good things for a very short time.
All right, so let me ask you this then, as a kind of a closing question. I'm just logging into my my stock portfolio right now. 5 coins you have to pick that will still be around in 20 years. What are you picking?
I would pick, obviously, Bitcoin, ETH, Doge, and after that, so Bitcoin, ETH, Doge. So I got 2 more, all right?
GM Raw.
GM Raw. Man, let's see, 2 more.
That's hard, eh? I think the 2 are obvious, and then I think Doge is somewhat obvious.
Hold on, I'll tell you right now. It's just, you gotta give me 1 second.
And I'm
And
not including stable coins.
then I'm gonna say XRP and Matic.
Fuck,
All right, go ahead. And we know you agree with the first.
I don't have it open, but I was literally had my mouse over Matic and like looking at Ripple at the same time, and it came out of your mouth, and I was just I knew it.
Okay, so if you agree with the first three, give us your two after that.
That is a hard. You know what? I would pick something more along the lines of like a Monero. I do think that there's always going to be some kind of desire for a real privacy coin. I think you have to pick a privacy coin in there.
What if there's a privacy layer just built on top of ETH?
I don't think it's enough. I think there's always going to be a desire for an L1 privacy coin.
All right. I was actually thinking about that. And let me also say this. I think dozens of coins that we're looking at right now will be around. Whether they will be at this place on the market cap list, there's only 5 that I think will be up here. Okay. Oh, now there will be other ones. There's 5 that I would bet on will be up there.
The other one that I would pick is if I had to throw a fifth in there. Campbell, you said Uni. I thought about Uni. VeChain is one that I don't own anymore, but I've always been bullish on because of, I mean, it's basically the physically backed token that Azuki was just doing, but like in an actual proper real world use case that makes sense. And they've always seemed to have good partnerships. I don't know. I don't know that it needs to have value in the same way that some of the other coins are. So it's not like a long-term investment thesis of mine, but I do always like it. But if I had to pick a fifth in there, I might actually pick ApeCoin, if I'm being honest with you.
I like that. I like that bet. I think I was trying to think of a smaller coin. Believe it or not, the first one that jumped into my mind was Zcash. So privacy coin, just like you were thinking. And then I was trying to think of a smaller one, but I decided that XRP supposedly has deals with all the Web2 banks and blah, 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 blah. I'm going to pretend to believe them right now because I'm long. So I'm just going to pretend it's true. The other one, Matic, because I'm so bullish on them as an onboarding. You know, you pointed it out during the Reddit thing. It's the way smart companies will onboard millions of people into Web3. I think that has legs decades from now.
Yeah, and see, that was kind of my point going back to the L1s. Like, in 20 years, do I think an L2 needs to exist? I don't, but I get it. I do. I think that you have absolutely changed my mind a little bit when you start to talk about gaming and like every single thing being on.
Think about it. I changed my mind.
I just said I thought about it.
Who was bearish on L2s, right?
You were bearish on Bitcoin, and now you won't shut the fuck up about it.
But, you know, I think, you know, I really believe what I'm saying. And I don't come to the conclusion. I don't come to the conclusions quickly. Okay. I think that
I only laugh just because it was how you said it, not what you said. It was I believe what I'm saying. I'm like, yeah, I hope so. We've done 159 of these shows. You're about to tell me you've been bullshitting your way through it the whole time?
I phrased that completely wrong. I believe in the fundamental case of what I'm saying. It's not a trade. Like I fundamentally agree with the case. Is what
and I will say it is okay to change your mind. You are allowed to change your mind. Anybody that gives you shit for changing your mind, not somebody you can be around.
I was very bearish on Bitcoin at 60K. My fault was that I was not as bearish on ETH at 4K. All right. So yeah, I was bearish on Bitcoin at the right time. Unfortunately, I was not bearish on ETH. I'm bullish on Bitcoin now. I feel like it's the right time. I think that, you know.
But you have changed your thought process on like bullish on Bitcoin in its reasons for existence too.
Yes,
Not necessarily the price. You have spoken much more favorably about it than you have in the past.
agreed. But I always did say that ETH will flip it. And I do think that the global supercomputer has a better use case than digital gold. I guess if you wanted to argue against me, you'd say that the market cap of gold is larger than the market cap of all the technology companies in the world.
Is it? Yeah, I guess it is.
Yep.
No, is it?
Yeah.
Isn't
Yep.
the market cap of gold like 13 trillion?
Gold is the largest asset class by market capitalization in the world.
Well, and all of the other tech companies combined?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, I guess after you knock off those couple $1 trillion companies, the market caps start to tail off pretty quickly. That does make sense.
Very quickly.
But I mean, this is such a stupid apples to oranges comparison. But I mean, I would say that the internet in its current iteration flipped gold in its current iteration. Like, I guess ETH flipping digital gold would be a narrative that I wouldn't surprise me, though I don't think it's going to happen. It's not the same thing. I don't know.
Here's the other thing. I think physical
gold. It felt
gold,
bad coming out of my mouth.
I think physical gold is as good as digital gold in as far as an investment hedge. I just think digital gold is still in an adoption cycle.
If the internet went public, what would it be valued at?
If what?
If the internet went public, what would it be valued at?
Exactly. That's kind of my point too with ETH is that, and with ENS, right?
Except you wouldn't have to use your shares to interact with the internet.
Right. And think about how ENS basically owns all the domains in the world, in the ETH world, right? That's very interesting too. So we are out there on
all roads lead back to ENS. See, you didn't put ENS token in that.
You're right, and that would have been a good pick. That cut, the one thing
I don't agree. I don't think a governance token. There's something about it that just doesn't fucking make sense to me.
It's not a governance. It's equity. I would bet you money.
ENS?
Equity. Yeah, I will bet you money. I will happily
What does ENS token do?
Nothing. It's a governance token. Why do you
think what I just said?
Yes, and they can change it at any time. And I will bet money they change it the moment regulation comes down. Within a year, I will predict within a year or two of regulation of Ethereum happening.
Can you pay your ENS fees in ENS?
I don't know.
You should be able to.
No, you can't. So I think that both ENS and Uniswap will become equity the moment they can.
Okay, that's fair. The moment they can, the moment they're allowed to.
And I would add both. If you told me to pick 10 coins that will exist, I'd add both to the list. And I could probably pick 20 that I think, because
but that's why I said 5. 5's hard because you know what 2 of them are.
Right. And remember, the things that are going to do best now is the stuff built on these protocols, not the protocols themselves. They've seen the lion's gain of the, ETH could go to $100,000. It's still up a lot more from IPO than that move to $100,000. So the lion's share of money has been made in these protocols. Now it's about buying the stuff built on it. And I think there's stuff being built on these protocols that'll be around in decades. They're that fundamental to the protocols. It's more about whether the protocol will be around for decades, and we agree it will be. So,
yeah. All right, guys, let's wrap this up. It is it's October 28th. I was going to say next time we do this, it'll be November, but no, we have one more show left in October. It'll be Halloween. I'll dress up.
It will be Halloween. It will be the last trading day of the month of October. We're going to print the monthly candle, which is exciting for technical analysts. I look very much forward to it, and I wish you much improvement in your health the weekend.
October. What's the name for November?
Movember. It's mustache, right?
Nah.
Movember. Isn't that
should I partake? No, I'm not doing it.
Well, is your hockey team doing well?
My hockey team. They're not doing too bad.
That's good.
But that's a playoff thing.
Yeah, well, the beer it is, but Movember I thought was something that these manly men of the ice participate.
Maybe it'll be Flowvember.
Yeah.
Gotta let the flow grow.
Sober October is almost over.
Sober October?
That's what...
I did not partake in that.
Neither did I, but that is what Joe Rogan and his crew do every year. Sober October.
I would like to ease my way into maybe a sober week.
Yeah.
I don't drink copious amounts anymore, but I do drink frequently. You know what I mean?
I made a beautiful white wine sauce with chicken the other night, but I didn't drink any of the wine, and I cooked most of the alcohol out of the chicken.
Yeah, I was gonna say that doesn't count at all. My dad went through a phase where he started cooking out. He took a cooking class, and one of the recipes had Grand Marnier in it, and he put so much Grand Marnier in all of the food that he was making at home that as a teenager, I'm pretty sure I was drunk for a month straight.
Yeah.
And I know that the alcohol typically gets cooked out of it, but I think he was putting so much in there and not getting it to that point. It just tasted like booze, like booze on my chicken. See, this is where it all started.
Yeah. I love it.
All right, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. This is episode 159 in the books. I probably sound like shit, so thank you for putting up with that. But we'll do it again on Monday. Always great to be up here. If you guys do me a favor, again, just hit the like button on it. Nice to see numbers going up on YouTube, though. It's that is fun. It's nice to know that people are out there watching it and interacting with the show and getting back into the routine of tuning in as we do the same. A couple times now, we've almost hit 20 live viewers, which is a nice feeling. The recordings are getting somewhere around 100 views. So, I mean, we always kind of joked that the metrics that we had on the show were kind of parallel to what was going on in the NFT space. And of course, April, May, June, when things really dropped off, we felt the brunt of that too. But, if it is any indication, there is still people around. There are still people that are bullish on this space and enjoying it and participating in it. And that number seems to be slowly creeping up. So we do appreciate that a lot. And we appreciate your time and your love for the show. Free Market, I appreciate you as well. Why don't you do the old thing?
Good luck at the tables, you beautiful, beautiful degenerate.